Hello, good morning students. How are you? I hope you all fine. So, in last lecture we have studied that first chapter of history, historiography, development in the West. So, I hope you read that lesson, and now we are going to see the question answers exercise of this lesson. But before that, I want to revise the content for you. So what we have learned previously, that we are going to see now. Tradition of historiography. So exactly tradition, how it is used in the past, when it was started, and what are the methods are used in today's age and in ancient time. So those we have studied well. So second in that one, modern historiography. In modern age we are using historiography method, but in that we are using few different methods based on the science. For example, experimental method means empirical method, and also the laboratory method. This also we using in modern age. Due to that, what happens, with the base of science we can get a correct exact information of the history, so which is reliable and it proves the document is correct. So that's why we are using the empirical document. So empirical method, sorry. So next one, we have studied that development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. Development of scientific perspective means the view of historians towards the science is developed in Europe and also towards the historiography. So when it is developed, who are they, all the historians, about them also we have took the information. And also the last we have studied one, notable scholars. Who are the scholars have given a valuable contribution for our historiography development. And also we have studied that some of the schools have introduced the study center for the history specially. So these are all points we have studied in first chapter. And the methods, historical research methods with a web chart we have studied. Now we are going to study the exercise of this lesson. Okay. Okay, first we are going to see in exercise that choose the correct option from the given options and complete the statement in sentence. See what we have to do, mainly we have to write in full sentence. You first have to note down it, first you have to keep in your mind. Many of the students using the shortcut method, that they are writing the answer directly, they are not writing in a full sentence. So this is wrong. We have to write full sentence answer, and we have to fill in the blank and underline the fill in the blank. So this method is correct for the board pattern, according to board pattern. Don't use shortcut, don't write directly answers of the question. So that we are going to see now. It may be said that, first question, it may be said that dash dash was the founder of modern historiography. Okay, let's see question what it exactly contains. It may be said that dash dash was the founder of modern historiography. So who was the founder, that we have studied well in notable scholars. So in that one name we got, the father means the founder who started the historiography, and he wrote also one book. So name of the scholar, that the Voltaire. So Voltaire is the historian. Voltaire is the founder of modern historiography. Okay, four options we have got here: Voltaire, René Descartes, Leopold Rank, and Karl Marx. If you studied well about these four historians, then you will realize that their work and what exactly statement they given about the historiography, and also which book they have wrote, and also you will get the real founder who started the historiography. So the name of the historian is Voltaire. So now we are going to see the next one. Second one, fill in the blanks. Dash dash wrote the book entitled dash dash wrote the book entitled Archaeology of Knowledge. Archaeology of Knowledge. So for this answer you have to read carefully the all Nobel scholars statements and their books, and then you will realize who wrote which book. So Archaeology of Knowledge written by, the answer is Michel Foucault. So answer is Michel Foucault. Mainly we see here again we can see the two fill in the blanks. Options are there for Karl Marx, Michel Foucault, Lucien Febvre and Voltaire. Among these four, the answer is Michel Foucault. Now identify the wrong pair in the following and correct and rewrite. See, three instructions they have given us. Three commands they have given us. See, first we have to identify the wrong statement. Second, what we have to do, we have to correct it, and third one we have to rewrite. So if you follow these three steps and you will attempt, then you will get correct mark for your presentation. Okay. So now we are going to see identify the wrong pair in the following, correct and rewrite. Okay. Okay students, now we are going to see that identify the wrong pair in the following, correct it and rewrite. So I have wrote here now all those historians names and their book which they wrote. So author and their books. So first we are going to see George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. So his book name is Reason in History. He wrote the book on the history using the historiography, the reason in history. Second, we are going to see Leopold von Ranke, the theory, practice of history. So his book name is The Theory, Practice of History. The next one, Herodotus. Herodotus wrote the book, The Histories. And last one we are going to see, here got the option Karl Marx, Discourse on the Method. So basically if we see, if we study well, if we read the everyone's statement and their books and their authors in a text, then we realize these are correct. Now last fourth one we have doubt about it. It's about Karl Marx, Discourse of the Method. So this statement, the author also wrong and the book also incorrect. So that we are going to see which book wrote by Karl Marx. We have to correct it. In front of Karl Marx we have to write his book name, the book he wrote by that Das Kapital. So he wrote that book Das Kapital. And so what about discourse on the method? Actually we don't have to work on it. Karl Marx, in front of him we have to write Das Kapital. And if you want to know who wrote the discourse on the method, that René Descartes wrote the book Discourse on the Method. So we have to correct it, rewrite it again in the following. Okay, now next one we are going to see, explain the following concept. Dialectics and Annales School, we got information in the text. You have to see dialectics and Annales Schools, that given information. Then next, third question, explain the following with its reason. We have to attempt the question with a reason. Historical research was driven to focus in the depth of various aspects of woman's life. You can see the one of the content is there in the text, that focusing on the woman's life and why it is necessary, why historical study is driven towards the woman's life. That about that information is there. Why? Because the improvement of woman is necessary. What are the problems faced by women in ancient period? So focus on it and bring it on in front of a society and develop the social condition and status of the woman. For that reason, the historical research was driven towards the woman's life. Now next we are going to see next question from the explain the following with reason. Foucault called his method the archaeology of knowledge. Here we can see reasoning history. Here not written, we don't have written about Foucault, Michel Foucault. So he said that archaeology of knowledge. Actually what happens, he given one statement, only using the experimental method or using the empirical method we cannot study. See, I am going to revise again one time. The French historian, the 20th century, Michel Foucault brought a fourth new concept about historiography. And his book he said that archaeology of knowledge argued that prevailing practice of arranging historical events in chronological order, prevailing and arranging the historical events in chronological order, it's not right. Given statement by Foucault. And to that fact that archaeology does not strive to reach the ultimate historical truth. So with arranging the historical events in chronological order, we cannot reach to the real truth of history. So that's why he said that you can refer the next method, that he said that but attempts to explain various transition. So Foucault felt that explaining the transition in history is more important. He called the method that the archaeology of knowledge. So he given statement that historians must follow the method archaeology of knowledge. So what method exactly contains? This method says that the transition in the people or social network that have to study well, that is important point for the learning history, stated into the book of Foucault. The book name is Archaeology of Knowledge. Okay. So we are going to see next question. Answer the following question in 25 to 30 words. So mainly many students have confused about how much we have to answer it, means how much or how many lines we have to write. Exactly how much we have to write, the said by many students. So 25 to 30 words, more than 25 to 30 words you have to attempt the answer. So first question is, what is the historiography? So in this, if we see in a short, historiography is one of the method, the study of narration of history, but we don't have to write like this. See what exactly it contains. We have learned about the historical reason method, critically examining the historical sources and writing the historical narrative. Keep it in mind what is meant by historiography. Critically examining the historical sources and writing the narrative is known as a historiography. Means whatever sources we getting from the world for writing history, that time we have to critically, means very alertly we have to study that, examine that all sources are reliable, whether these are evidence are original, documents also real, that we have to study, and then we have to narrate the information. That is called this method is called historiography. So next in that we are going to see a scholar who writes such narrative called a historian. Now next question we are going to see, what did Rene Descartes insisted upon? So what statement given by Rene Descartes? That we are going to see what he given statement. Descartes was the foremost among the scholars who insisted verifying reliability of the historical documents by critically examining. Suppose historian got any documents from the any museum or any archaeological site. Suppose he got any document, then the next step is critically, very carefully we have to examine the document, and about the document the reliability, it is a reliable or it is a real document or not, or a fake, that we have to study, we have to examine, and then we have to write the book based on it. So Rene Descartes stated this statement about the reliability of the books or documents. So next we are going to see, why is Voltaire said to be the founder of modern historiography. That also we are going to see. So about Voltaire, already we have studied that he said that about he given his valuable contribution for the development of historiography. So what we are going to see, Voltaire's original name was Franciscus Marie Orchid. Open that along with the objective truth and chronology of historical events, considering social traditions, trade, economic, agriculture, etc., was also equally important in historiography. It gave rise to a thought that understanding all aspects of human life is important for the history writing. Thus, it is said that Voltaire was the founder of modern historiography. See, basically, if we focus, nothing is repeated in this. Voltaire said that while studying chronology and timeline of a history, we have to focus on other aspects of human life. Which aspect? The occupation, the economy, the lifestyle, the agriculture, these all things, the politics, everything, these all points have to include in history, in the study of history. So due to this, many people, due to his statement, many people agreed with him, and that's why the Voltaire is called the founder of modern historiography. Okay. Okay. Now next one, complete the concept chart. Notable scholars in Europe. There is one of the concept chart in the text. You have to write only names of the scholars from the Europe, from the West we said that, and you have to write notable scholars and their contribution, but only you have to write the name, mention the name into the box. Now we are going to see 6th question, answer the following in detail. Explain Karl Marx class theory. So first, that we already studied, class means categories, caste system, that already been studied about Karl Marx. So again one time I am going to revise you. So he said that firstly, human relations are shaped by the fundamental needs. See, basic needs. If we have our basic needs, that's why we are living in a society, in a social environment. We have created feelings, relations towards the others because of fulfillment of our needs, said by Karl Marx. and ownership as well as nature of the prevalent means of production to the meet those needs, the accessibility of these means to different strata of the society may not be equal. This inequality causes division of society into the classes. In a society, many people from different strata, they live in different status with a different status. Some are the rich, some are the poor, and some are the middle status. So these people living in society, some are the rich. So this type of strata creates a different class into the society, and one of the richest and poorest. So richest families can exploit, or richest class can exploit, not richest family, richest class of the society can exploit to the poor. And due to this, according to Karl Marx, human history is the history of class struggle. He said that people in society and about their lifestyle and total history of that people is not only the events, that is equally we can say that at the end that is the class struggle of the people for their development. And as the class that owns the means of production economically exploits these the classes. So who are well developed through by the economy, who have a power and they can exploit to the productive class, means productive who works actually, who are the poor, on that class, that class can exploit for their purpose. So one of the book wrote by the Karl Marx, that is Das Kapital, we have studied already. So here we can see the class theory. What is the class theory? How the class creates. So we have studied. Now next question that we are going to see. What are the characteristics of the modern historiography? So characteristics are four main characteristics we have studied already. So which are they that we are going to revise you again? So first one, its method is based on scientific principle. It begins with the formation of relevant questions. About modern historiography and the traditional historiography, there is a lot of difference. So here we are going to see the characteristics. So first characteristic is that the scientific base is important and used for the modern study, in a modern study of history, and also formulating relevant questions, the questions which are based on reliable documents. So first principle. So next one, second, the questions are orthopocentric. It means these questions are both the deeds of members of ancient humans societies and particular period. History does not suggest the interrelation between the divine and human deeds. See, history must be based on the human deeds or a social condition or other members of ancient human society. Does suggest the human or societies of particular period. So whatever deeds means works did by the human. So on the basis of that, the questions must be formulated, and also questions should not be based on the divine relation, interrelation between human deeds and the God. So divine relation means divine and human deeds means there is a no scope for the question in between divine relation of the human. So we have to formulate the question on the based on society and human needs. So next, answer to these questions are supported by reliable evidence support, and whatever questions we have formulated for those questions, we are collecting the answers that time. Whatever answers we are writing for that, that answers are must based on the reliable evidence. Evidences witnessed must be original, must be found on the place of exhibition. So should not be fake evidence. We should not use fake evidence for the. Now next, history presents a graph of mankind journey with the help of past human deeds. Now fourth characteristics, while writing or narrating the book using historiography, we must focus on the journey of human being and his deeds of human means his work. So actually while narrating using historiography, we must focus on the journey of human being and also his deeds. This one is the fourth characteristic of the modern historiography. Okay. So next question, we are going from 6th one. Answer the following in detail. So in that third question, what is feminist historiography? So if we see feminist historiography about the women and their lifestyle and their status. So we have mainly the authors have focused through the historiography. So we are going to study feminist historiography means the restructuring of the history from the perspective of women, with the view of women. If we see today also we have less value or less status in women because women are now getting improved themselves. Our government also started many policies for women empowerment, but still that much success they not have got yet in the field, in some fields. So we are trying to improve their status, but this problem continued from the past. So in the past, while using historiography, what actually they did for the women, that we are going to see. They reconstructed the history. How? The writings of Simone de Beauvoir helped in establishing the fundamental feminism. She was French author. The feminist historiography emphasized not on the inclusion of women in history, but also on the rethinking of the male-dominated perspective of history. If we see, in a history they not focused on only female entry into the historiography, but also they focused on only male-dominated into the history. Means what? We are seeing that many of the authors are male or historians are male in history section, but when a woman entered, that time she also focused on it, and also the male dominated, only male oriented historians are able to write the historiography, but this system is crushed by the Simone de Beauvoir. So we are going to see what happened exactly. The feminist historiography emphasized not on the inclusion of women in the history, but also the rethinking of the male-dominated perspective of the history. It drove historical research to focus in depth on various aspects of the woman's life. Using historiography, she focused on women's life, which are aspects still neglected by the society, and they still facing the injustice. So which are the aspects that we are going to see? So such as their employment, their role in a trade union. We can see today many of the women are well educated, and they are participated, or they can do any occupation, or they can as like a man, they can work in any field. But we can see here that one of the problem mentioned role in a trade union, institutions working in their cause, their family life, etc. In the historical writings after 1990, women were portrayed as independent social class. So here we can see the Simone de Beauvoir want to develop the status of woman, and she want to enter into the she want to become a historian, and she want an interest, or want to more number of women should take participate into the study of history, and her view is that towards women, the status of women should be developed in that event, in that past. Okay, next we are going to see question. Explain the Leopold von Rank's perspective of history. So, perspective of history of Leopold von Rank. So, what he said, suggested, that exactly we are going to see. Historiography of the 19th century was greatly influenced by the thoughts of Leopold von Rank of Berlin University. He spoke about critical method of historical research. He puts an emphasis on the utmost importance of information gathered through the original documents. He also stated that all types of documents associated with historical event need to be examined with the greatest care. Same like another author, he said that whatever reliable documents, whatever original documents we are getting from sources for the history writing, that all document critically examined and verified as they correct, or as the correct evidences for the writing the history, said by Leopold von Rank. And also he said that he believed that with this method it was possible to reach historical truth. When we actually work or examine the historical documents correctly, with carefulness we can study it, that time we can reach to our goal, means collecting the or getting the truth. And at last his book name was that The Theory of Practice of History and The Secret of the World History. He wrote those two books. So next one we are going to see here project. So on project we will work afterward when you come to the class. So here we have finished our all questions from the exercise. If you have still any doubt, then you can ask me frankly. I will solve your problems definitely. So next we are going to see the second chapter, historiography, Indian tradition. In historiography we are going to see Indian tradition. Okay. So in second chapter, historiography in the Indian tradition, that we are going to see tradition of Indian historiography, how the historiography is used in India, 2.1, and also second 2.2, Indian historiography, various ideological frameworks for the history, for the historiography, what type of frameworks, what type of criteria they have decided they made for the study of history, that we are going to see afterward. Now next one, that first 2.1 we are going to see tradition of Indian historiography. We learned about the Western tradition of historiography in the last lesson. In this lesson we will know about the tradition of Indian historiography. Historiography in the ancient period. So in the ancient period in India, memories of the great deeds of ancients and mythological lore, also memories of social transitions, were preserved with the help of oral recitals. So orally, if we focus on oral source, orally they have preserved, they have secured, or they have protected and they transmitted that all stories about the king, war, their bravery, everything. So next step they did for it. The inscriptions on the Harappan seals and other artifacts confirm that Indians had mastered the art of writing as early as the 3rd millennium BCE, or perhaps before that. However, the Harappan script is not yet successfully deciphered. We can see in India, in Harappan site, during the exhibition time, we got some coins on that. Some words are wrote with the script, with the inscription. So we can get an idea about that. Well developed script for the preserving historical documents. So it is a one good thing, and that much successfully we not got that all information from that coins yet. So the inscription on the Harappan seals that we are going to see afterward. The earliest known written documents of historical nature found in India are in the form of inscriptions. They are dated to the 3rd century BCE, that is Emperor Ashok Maurya's times. His edicts are inscribed on the natural rocks and the stone pillars. So mainly we know that Mauryan Empire ruled in India that time. During these times, whatever coins and inscriptions are there, we got more information through it. Ashokan pillar was also there. So his edicts are also there. So from this we got information, and we can get idea. We have well developed inscription or writing skill during this period BCE in India, before Christ. From the 1st century, inscriptions began to occur on coins, metal images and sculptures, and also copper plates. If we see when it is started in 1st century, the inscriptions people started to script or write on copper plates, and also coins, metals, and also images, metal images and sculptures, and also copper plates. They provide important historical information. We get to know about the dates of various kings, dynastic genealogies, territorial extent, and administration of various empires and kingdoms, and so important political events, social organization, climate, famines, etc. of the respective times. What is the use of inscription? They have given in a short. With the inscription we can understand the exact time and date of the event that took place in the past. For example, about the war, about the famine, and about the boundaries of particular kingdom, means extent, and also the genealogy, the generation wise ruling on particular kingdom. That also we can get information about through the dates with the inscription. And also territorial extent. Territorial extent means the boundaries of the empire, and also we can see the important political events took place in the past. So organization, climate, famine, with the respective of these all, we can get information through the inscription. The ancient Indian literature, including the epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Purans, Jain and Buddhist texts, historical accounts, and Indian authors, and also the travelers by the foreign traveler came to India, important source of a history. We can get information through the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puran, Buddhist and Jain travelers who came to India. These are also called the sources of history. We can take a lot of information from them. They have wrote book on their travel route and their daily routine, and about Indian incidents. So we get more information from them about the traveler and about their journey. Writing of biographies of king and dynasties. Histories mark an important step in the Indian historiography. Harshacharita, written in 7th century CE by Banabhatta, is king of Harsha's biography. So we can see the courtiers of realistic picture of the social, economic and political, religious and cultural life during the king's times. So through the biography, one of the important and main source which is very needy, necessary for the information is called biography. So one of the biography we are going to see here in the Indian historiography. Harsh Charitra. This is the name of the book of written biography by the one of the author. The author is Banabhatta, wrote this book, written in 7th century C by Banabhatta. The king Harsha's biography. Harshavardhan, we are saying the Harsha's biography, and name of biography is Harsh Charitra and wrote by the Banabhatta. So through biography we can understand exact what events took place during that period. So in that portrays the realistic picture of social, economic, political, religious and cultural life during king's time. So we can understand, we can get a more information about the social, cultural, political and economical structure and about the system about his kingdom. We will get more information through the biography. So here we will stop today. We will get remaining information in a next lecture. So next point is that historiography in the medieval period. So how historiography worked or used in medieval period, that we are going to see now. But before that, we have studied today the exercise of firstly we have revised the lesson, and then we have studied the exercise, and then we have started the historiography in Indian tradition and how it is used in India, that we are going to study. But yet we have started first 2.1, and in that we have studied how for the historiography which points are necessary as a source we have used in India. So in that all information we have took now, which is inscribed on the coins, metals and stones also, that we have studied now. So remaining part we will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.